This is Lagos, a beautiful, vibrant city, a city with many tribes, cultures, and traditions, a city where you find the most beautiful brown people, but also a city facing a problem. Lagos can also be called one of the bleaching capitals of Africa, perhaps the world. The World Health Organization have reported that 77% of Nigerian women are consumers of bleaching products. Products designed to change the original colour of your skin, making it lighter. Unconsciously, our society has somehow internalized this false notion that being light-skinned is preferred. Colorism, or shadism as it may be called, is a form of prejudice, discrimination, usually from members of the same race. It can be traced back to colonialism, where the white skin was taught as being superior. Being a woman living in Lagos, I can't count the amount of times I've been told, "Watch it all, you're getting darker," or "What cream are you using?" Bleaching has become a part of our culture and our lives, and I want to find out how and why this billion-dollar industry is on the steady increase. Which one do they use most for face? Oh, I've not heard of that one, Dr. White. Can I see it? Okay, Dr. White. So how much does this one go for?
4,000.
I've not heard of this one, Dr. White. So this one, does it work?
Good.
Works good. Most of the products come from China or abroad. Yeah. So do people prefer products imported or the ones made and mixed in Nigeria?
Both
of them. So just the one that works. Let me get this. Let me buy this one. What's the name? Because it's in Chinese. I can't remember. Just Chinese stuff.
You can actually call it cake.
Cake. Okay. So people come in to ask for cake. Okay. Let me get cake. Then I actually like Nivea for myself anyway. So let me buy Nivea for my body. Which one is the best one? Which one do you sell the most? How much is the caraway? Now the market was hot, busy, noisy, but I did enjoy speaking to lots of individuals. I'm on my way now to see Dr. Vivian, who kindly appeared in the first docu-series, Lagos Beauty How Far. I've invited her again to share some knowledge with us. I have some questions and I'm hoping she can answer them. Hi, Dr. Vivian.
Hi, Baba.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
You look fabulous, as
Thank
always.
you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm back again. We spoke recently, and the topic was skin toning, bleaching, lightening. Yeah. But of course, it was in a docu-series that I spoke on loads of other things. Now, this one topic has kind of stood out, and a lot of people have requested that they find out more about it. So I'm kind of on a fact-finding mission to try and find out more about this. I don't know if it's called it bleaching culture, epidemic. I
call it an epidemic.
An epidemic. So it's that bad. Okay, so let me just dive straight in then. Why do people bleach? Especially, why do people bleach so much in Nigeria?
Well, I would say, of course, Nigeria statistically has the highest number of people who bleach, and it's not just women. Right. Men are involved as well. Okay, and from my surveys, it's like many of them feel that the lighter they are, the more attractive they will be, and they'll be able to get jobs. The women feel they'll find husbands, and they just want to stand out.
Why is it on the increase? Because this thing isn't slowing down.
Well, I feel that people who probably were not interested in bleaching feel that their counterparts who bleach have better opportunities, because there are even some job markets that insist on hiring people with lighter skin. So if you're, not based on your capabilities, but based on your looks and how bright your skin looks. People are going to extremes. There are hazardous, life-threatening procedures that people go through to be able to get this desired lighter skin. Like injectables, having injections to lighten them right through the body. It's popularly known as the glutathione injections, which glutathione in itself is normally present in the body. But it's used for people who are immunocompromised or those going through chemotherapy to help boost their immunity. And a side effect is that it suppresses melanin uniformly, so they become lighter. So now it's become like a cosmetic, but that's not what it is actually created for. So that's an off-label practice.
So is that harmful then to someone?
Well, it depends, because it depends on the dosages. Because some dosages are harmful. They could affect kidney function, thyroid function, and could lead to anaphylactic shock in some people. And of course, unhygienic practices, because many of the practitioners are not even medical personnel, administered by people on the roadsides. I've been to markets where men are beckoning on people, come get this whitening injection, you look beautiful. Totally, people that are untrained are giving the injections in the marketplace as well.
Sounds like a lot to risk just for
getting
lighter skin.
But I see that a lot of people have severe psychological setbacks and they're ready to do just about anything, risk their lives if necessary, just to get their desired results. But what disturbs me most is parents bleaching their children. I mean, in some West African country, pregnant women were taking tablets to try to bleach their unborn fetuses while they were pregnant.
Surely that doesn't even work.
Of course it can't work, and they don't even know what they're taking, if it's just a sugar pill or what. And why would you even put yourself at that kind of risk and your fetus, your unborn child that you're so protective over? And doctors always advise you avoid a lot of different chemicals.
So that just shows that they really, really care about the color of their children.
Important. And you find discrimination in families against darker skinned children. Some parents discriminate against their own children.
Okay, so just last question, just to kind of summarize or round it up.
Yeah.
What, if you had to say at least like 2 sentences or a phrase, what would you say in regards to this bleaching, lightning culture that we have in Nigeria? What would you say about it?
Well, bleaching is a choice. But I think people should do background research, not jump on a bandwagon. Like, we use bleaching medically to correct pigmentation problems, burns, scarring, things like that. But it's for a period of time. I think self-love should be taught from infancy. Because if children are being bleached, what is the future for them? Because they begin to think there's a problem if they're being bleached by their parents. So if you love the skin you're in, and if you're taught that from when you're really small, nobody can push you into the bleaching practice. Because the truth is, your best skin tone is what you were born with. As long as it's healthy, you will be beautiful. And that is what I preach and advocate. Healthy skin is always beautiful, regardless of the skin tone or shade.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was great having conversation at grassroots level. It was also great talking to a professional such as Dr. Vivian. This bleaching culture is a lot deeper than we think, and we also have to understand it's a business, a billion-dollar industry. I know I needed to speak to someone who had first-hand experience with bleaching their skin, and kindly, a lady by the name of Bookie, who wanted to be left anonymous, agreed to share her story. I really wanted to know a bit more about the thought process that goes into one bleaching their skin and then stopping.
To be honest, it's been back and forth. Some days my skin just feels very oxidated, very hydrated, and I feel very comfortable in my skin. And some days it just feels very, rough. I don't like how I'm looking. I look dark, and some days I look lighter. It's just, back and forth.
How was it when you were using them?
To be honest, most of the skin products that I've used was basically because I wanted to get lighter. So anything that says I can brighten your skin, I can tone your skin, I can, I just go for it and I use it. And I've noticed that most of the skin products, they actually work at first. And it seems like you're getting the result. Some in a matter of days you're feeling lighter, you look lighter, all the spots are gone, all the pimples are gone, and you're like, oh wow, and after a couple of weeks they just stop working and you realize that you're back to square one, or they even leave you in a much worse condition than your skin was before you actually started using those products. So when you see that this particular product is no longer working, you just move to another one, maybe as per a friend's recommendation, or you go back to the same people and tell them this thing is not working. They're like, oh, okay, maybe your skin is reacting, and they give you something else, or you just go on a quest to look for something else that works.
So on average, when you were bleaching your skin, how much do you think you were spending a month on average?
On average, I could say between the margin of 15 to 25,000, because the body creams will probably cost you about maybe 5,000 to 6,000. The facial creams, maybe like day and night, will cost you 1,500 to 2,000. Maybe they tell you to use cleanser and all that, and facial soap and what have you. So yeah.
And do you find that you're using more imported products or locally made mixed creams?
At first, I started using imported products because there was just this phenomenon that, that was around imported products. Because they were imported, people felt, that stuff works. But of recent, locally made products have, I don't know, they've just skyrocketed now, and it's like the in thing now. So people, I think, naturally, people just switched, including myself, from imported products to locally made products, because you want your cream to mix a certain way with certain things inside, with this belief that it would work faster and better than imported stuff, that you don't even know what's inside.
So how did it make you feel when people say you're popping, you're glowing, you look lovely, and obviously your skin is getting lighter? How did it make you feel to hear that?
I actually felt like, my money's worth. Like, at least I know that what I'm using is working, and even if I don't tell myself the truth, as long as other people are seeing it and they're complimenting, it just means that the stuff that I bought, it works, and and that's a satisfaction for me.
So why did you then decide to stop lightening your skin?
Well, I decided to stop lightening my skin because after a while, I started getting reactions on my skin, like having like white patches around my neck and my arms and my thighs, and it got very severe to the point that I had to go to the hospital, because even when I went back to the skincare people, the creams they were recommending, telling me, no, don't worry, it's part of it, it will go, it will blend in, stuff like that, it wasn't working. And I got very concerned, and I'm like, I can't be going out like this, because the first thing people notice, and they're like, she's definitely been using creams, and it was very embarrassing. I started having black spots all over my chest, and it was spreading and spreading. I couldn't wear like certain clothes anymore. I had to start wearing like round necks and long sleeves to cover all those spots. In all that time, pending the time I was able to get medical advice and get stuff that would help clear it all out.
So now that you've stopped, would you say you're happier with the way you look now and how you feel? Or were you happier when you were bleaching?
I was actually happy when I was bleaching, because at least, I got brighter, I got fairer, and I liked what I was seeing. I felt more confident, I loved my pictures, I took more selfies, and I still feel happy now, because, stopping those creams, meant that I didn't expose myself to more reactions, and definitely those reactions have cleared over time. So I feel happy that at least I didn't have those reactions, and I can still wear comfortable clothes, and I don't have to hide any marks or lacerations or anything like that. But I feel that my skin could still be better.
I must say it was great meeting Bookie in person. She looked happy and gorgeous with her chocolate smooth skin, and I'm just so glad that her skin hadn't been damaged beyond repair. Now, when I think about chocolate skin, my friend Julie comes to mind. She's always been hardworking, confident and bold, and so comfortable in her beautiful black skin. I wanted to get her opinion on the skin bleaching culture, because I know firsthand that she's always loved her black skin. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Lola.
How you doing, gorgeous?
I'm perfect. How are you?
Fine, and you look fabulous.
Thank you.
As
so
always,
do you.
and your skin is glowing as always. So I'm going to jump straight in.
Okay, go on.
So obviously you have amazing, beautiful brown skin.
Thank you.
So what's your experience been like with your skin?
To be honest, growing up, obviously I love being a dark skin girl. It was either you're dark skin, you're light skin, you're mixed race, or you're a white girl at school. So there was a couple of people that stood out, and that was the dark skin girls. So growing up like that, I always treasured my dark skin. It was never something I always questioned about changing or anything like that. So I love living in this skin.
So you're saying from like when you were growing up, you didn't have any negative feelings towards your skin?
Not particularly, no. Obviously, growing up in London, there's a lot of black people and a lot of dark skinned people. And dark skin abroad is more treasured than I would say in Africa, because it's something that they find beautiful. But here, I feel like it's almost dealt with when it comes to wealth. I was having a discussion with someone the other day, and someone said to me that, you know, growing up in Nigeria, the more money you have, the lighter you're supposed to be. And I thought that was a joke. But someone actually said it to me that, oh, you know, when you start making money, you have to get rid of your dull skin.
Dull.
Yeah. So I've heard that before. And to me, I feel like whatever skin you're born in is God's way of making you into your own person anyway. It's not your position to change it. If he wanted it different, he would have made you different. So that never obviously changed my perspective.
So why do you think you're so confident? Like, you're someone that, since I've known you, you've never had an issue with ever thinking, oh, I want to be lighter. Like, I've never had that conversation with you. You've always been fabulous. You've always owned it. And you've always genuinely loved your skin. And you do stand out. Like, when you walk into a room, Julie, even though normally people say people that are bright stand out, you stand out by the way you carry yourself.
Because of my short hair.
I wish I had my short hair today. So why do you think that it is that for you didn't really, one, allow those comments to affect you? Or where'd you get the confidence from to be like, yo, even if people say negative things about you should be lighter, how it doesn't affect you?
I think one thing is you have to know who you are. In order for you to not even allow anybody to get into your mind, you already need to know exactly who you are. And when you know who you are, you know the power you possess. And that comes from skin, that comes from within. So that posture comes from a lot of things that are related to who you are, but in yourself. Because I can come here and I tell you that, oh, Lola, you're a bit light. You know, you could be a little bit lighter. If you're not confident in yourself alone, that thing will start triggering your mind for you to start thinking and feeling like that. But when you say, I accept what you've said. However, I'm happy with the way I am. I'm happy with who I am. And I know who I'm called to be. So I don't look at myself as a dark-skinned girl. I look at myself as Julie.
What it sounds like to me is that, like you said, it's about self-love.
Yeah.
So it's not that you haven't had negative comments, but it's almost like everybody has negative comments and you just don't let it affect you. You know who you are. Makes sense. So I'm going to ask you another question. I want you to be like brutally honest. Have you ever used any lightening, toning products before in the past?
Not at all.
Never.
You know, the thing is, I'm scared because I always make these jokes with my friend. I'm like, if I ever bleach, you guys are going to know because you know I'm dark. So as soon as I come around the corner, you just see this light-skinned girl. You're like, who's that? It's the same thing I think about enhancing your beauty. Obviously, everyone has their preference to it. Some people say they tone up, which is like, I don't know, it's a lighter version of bleaching.
In essence, it's the same thing, but it's just, not as extreme,
Why would you do that? Because you're basically not happy with yourself. But again, it's down to everyone's preference. But self-love is one of the biggest things that causes people to go and bleach their skin, because there's some doubt in that self-love in themselves that they're looking for perfection. And because they're looking for that self-love for perfection, they start going into looking into their, their nitty-gritties, their flaws. Or someone said, I'm too dark today. Sometimes, and I'm lucky, I don't have oily skin, I don't have dry skin, I'm just in between. Like some days I could put on my makeup and I look like my face is all wet, and that helps my skin glow. So I don't want to play with the mechanisms of my skin, and that's why I haven't actually tried on any products.
You're probably like one out of not many people.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, even if they haven't continued to bleach, they have been given some kind of product which has a lightening effect.
Once I see on the product and it says skin lightening or something like that, like I stare away from
it over the wall.
Because you can literally try something and it just takes you from here to completely beyond. So you have to also be very careful with what you lay your hands on and what you put on your skin. Some things are unreversible, and because of the melanin in our skin, which a lot of people forget, you're stripping your skin when you bleach.
I think we all have friends that have bleached, are bleaching, are toning, have toned, want to bleach. And I feel like you can have a friend that bleaches even if you don't necessarily encourage the bleaching.
Yeah.
What would you say to your friend that says, you know what, Julie, I've made my decision. This is really what I want to do. I want to change the appearance of my skin. What would you say to them?
I mean, again, it comes down to how you're feeling about yourself. So she's feeling something is lacking and she feels that her bleaching her skin will attract a certain type of people to her because she wants to be seen in a certain light. But that's not just from her skin. So that's still dwelling with something that's within her. So my advice to her is, what is the initial problem? Because you've been living in this skin all your life. and that problem wasn't there. So this is a new problem that you've brought on to yourself by society that has made your mind think in such a manner. So that's the kind of advice I would give my friend.
So during this documentary, I've spoke to a lot of people with different opinions for why they bleach and everything. And one of the things that people have said is that bleaching skin almost isn't a big deal. It's almost like if you wanted to, it's like a form of changing your appearance, the same way you change your hair or you dress differently. Or do you think it's different, or do you think it's in the same realm as that? Like, some people feel like it's not a big deal, then there's some people that feel like, oh no, it is a big deal because we're black people. What do you think about the people that say that it's not a big deal, it's like changing your hair?
So when you say it's like changing your hair, I can change my hair to short hair today and I can make it back long tomorrow and have it back exactly how I want it. When you start tampering with the ages and the production of your skin, you're stripping parts that you probably can't get back even if you stop bleaching.
You spoke a lot about self-love and knowing yourself, and if you kind of you're a confident person, negative things people say, you won't be easily influenced by people's opinions of you. Do you think as a people, as a culture, as a race, what can we do to help this bleaching culture? That's for those that feel like it needs to stop. Some people feel like it shouldn't stop. It's been there forever. But then I know some people that feel like it hasn't been here forever and we need to kind of tackle it so that we don't raise another generation of people that feel the need to lighten their skin. What can we do? Like, what, just from your opinion, like as an ordinary girl, what do you think will help those that are struggling with trying to accept their skin or wanting to change it?
They say change starts from within and at home. So when you love yourself alone, it's enough for you to share to somebody else that isn't loving themselves enough. There isn't really a way to stop the bleaching culture, as it were, because the products are still getting sold, people are still being put down. But once we can build confidence in each other and encourage each other through the things that we say about each other and to each other, for each other, allows us to shy away from the fact of, your skin is your skin. I can't change who I am. I can't remove my eyeballs. That's the same way you shouldn't be able to feel like you can strip off your skin today because you feel like you have a friend that's light and she gets more attention and you want that kind of attention. She might be getting that kind of attention because of her perception. It could be because of her personality, but you're weighing that out. You're watering that down and you're looking for something that you can adjust. But if you just adjusted yourself into who you're supposed to be, you will see that there's a role and a place for you on this earth that does not pertain to the color of your skin. So I think we need to first self-educate ourselves enough that we can pass on the message to everyone else.
It was great having these important conversations. This bleaching culture may be a lot deeper than we think. We cannot merely think it's down to personal choices. There must be more strategic, calculated influences that we are unaware of. In the next episode, we'll be talking about these influences and how sometimes they can have a drastic negative consequence on your health. Stay tuned.